Hello, 7th grade. Today we are talking about volume. And what volume is the total amount of space an object takes up, and that's going to be a three-dimensional object. So I'm going to write that down as well, a 3D object. And we are looking on how to find the amount of space that an object takes up. So different ways we measure volume could be like a cubic inch, a cubic foot, or just a gallon. A gallon's way to measure volume, or a liter, things like that. But the way that we are going to find volume today actually is going to start with how we find area. So if I have a square here, and I find the area of it, the way we're going to find area, of course, is going to be length times width. So this is the length, that's the width. We multiply those together. Let's say the length is 3, or 5, and the width is 3. There we go. 5 times 3 would be 15 equals 5 times 3. So our area would be 15 units squared. Area was always going to have units squared. So what we're going to do now is we're going to use how we find area to figure out how to find volume. So all volume is, what it's going to be, volume is going to be equal to the base times the height. So volume equals base times height. And we're going to make sure that our base is an area. So our base is an area. So we just talked about how we find areas of rectangles, and how we find areas of rectangles is length times width. That's right up here, length times width. So we're going to put that down for our base because our base is an area. So what that ends up doing is that our volume is going to be equal to length times width times height. So I'm going to give a quick example problem here. If I have, I'm try to draw a prism. So this right here is a box, and we're going to say that the dimensions of this box is 30 feet by 30 feet by 10 feet right there. Alright, so our volume is going to be the base times the height. So the first thing we have to do is we have to find the area of the base here. So the area of our base here, if this is a rectangle, would be 30 by 10. So our base would be length times width, and the length times the width is going to be 30 times 10, which is going to be equal to 300 feet squared, is going to be the area. So after that, we're going to be looking for the height, and our height is 30 feet. So the height's 30 feet. So our volume is going to be length times width, which we already found, times the height of 30 feet. So our volume is going to be equal to 300 feet squared times 30 feet. What that is going to give us is 9,000 feet cubed. Alright, so what we want to do now, I'm just going to walk us through a couple more problems, is if I have a 2-foot cube, a 2-foot cube of ice, and it weighs 57 pounds per cubic foot, how much does it weigh? So I have 2-foot cube at 57 pounds per foot. Pounds per cubic foot. That's important. Cubic foot. So I'm trying to find my volume first. So the first thing I need to do. And my volume is going to be equal to the length times the width times the height. For my cube, I know that 2 feet is going to be the length, the width, and the height. So my volume is going to be 2 times 2 times 2, which is going to give me 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. That means I'm going to have 8 feet cubed as my volume. And I know that is 57 pounds per foot cubed. So looking at this, I have 57 pounds for every foot cubed and 8 cubic feet. So this is like if I'm buying 8 candy bars at 57 cents, all those things, 57 cents per candy bar. How I'm going to find that is going to be multiplication. So I'm going to have to multiply this, and what I end up getting with multiplication, I have 57 times 8. 7 times 8 is going to be 56. So 56 there. Carry the 5s, how y'all do that. 8 times 5 is going to be 40, plus 5 is 45. So I end up with 456, and the unit there is going to be pounds. I'm wondering how many pounds the thing weighs. It's going to be 456 pounds. Let's make sure we don't forget our units. So I have a couple other ones I would like you guys to be able to do. I'm going to show you guys some more example problems. Would be if I have a building with a base that looks something like this. Something like this, where this is 12 feet, 12 feet, 20 feet, and 15 feet. All right. So the way we did this earlier was when we're finding area is to break these crazy shapes into shapes that are easier to solve. So the shapes I'm going to use, I'm just going to divide this up into 2 rectangles. This could be my first rectangle, and that's going to be my second. And of course, like I've said a few times now, the volume is going to be equal to the base times the height. So this is the floor plan we're going to say for a building with a height of 10 feet. So a 10-foot tall building, and this is the floor plan. So to find our volume, we need to find our base, which is an area, and the height, which is 10 feet. So to find the base, we're going to divide it into these 2 sections, rectangle 1 here and rectangle 2 there. Rectangle 1 I have is going to be 20 feet right here, and this length here is going to be 15 plus 12, which is going to be 27. So rectangle 1, the area is going to be 20 times 27 square feet, which is going to give me 540 square feet. Y'all can do that by hand yourselves if you don't believe me, but it should be 540 square feet. The second rectangle, so that's my rectangle 1. My second rectangle right here, rectangle 2, is going to be 12 feet by 12 feet. So let me get rectangle 2. 12 by 12, that's going to be square feet, which is 144 square feet. So now I'm just going to add up these areas. So my total is going to be rectangle 1, this area, plus rectangle 2, this area. So I'm adding those areas together. I have 540 plus 144, which is going to give me 684 square feet. And that's my base. So now what I need to do to find the volume is base times height. Let's remember that again. Volume equals base times height. My base is going to be 684, and my height was given to me at 10 feet. So then I have 684 feet squared times 10 feet. 684 times 10 is going to be 6,840. Feet squared times feet is going to be feet cubed, which is correct for the units. We should have something cubed for the units here. So what I would like you guys to find for me, just to practice, is we're going to have a big old box here that's a nice rectangle shape, and the sides are going to be 4 inches by 5 inches by 9 inches. I'd like you guys to find the volume of this, as well as finding the volume of a cube with a side of 6 inches, so with 6-inch side. So those are the 2 problems that I would like you guys to do at the end of your notes. Thank you guys for listening. I will see you in class.